so it is with much fear and trepidation, honor and joy, that I introduce someone also curiously named Joy. You see, tonight's also the first time we actually got to have our first student director and our first student stage manager. We've been very, very excited to have them. All the time we've been excited to have them. You see, I've let Joy Hecker direct this part of this show, and in an interesting turn of events, the author of Murders in the Air, Billy St. John, decided that he wanted to communicate only with her for what he called revisions to the script. So, if you like the show, we're so glad. If you don't blame me. And without any further ado, I want to welcome up our student director for the night, Joy Hecker. Let's like the paper trail. You promised me this would be organized.
Yes, it is organized in my own expectations of organization.
You have an audience to be paid.
Yeah.
You're going to do great.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, I have an announcement to make. I'm Joy Hecker. I student-directed tonight's play. The circumstances surrounding tonight's production are a little unusual. You see, I was very flattered when Billy St. John, who wrote Murders in the Air, as you probably noticed in your programs, Air is spelled H-E-I-R. Murders in the Air, get it? Yes. Well, I was very flattered when Mr. St. John asked me to help student direct his play's premiere production. Actually, it was a work in progress, and we made changes and rewrites throughout the whole rehearsal period. Well, it was very exciting being a part of a brand new work, but quite a strain on me, playwright, and the cast. You got that right. Oh, hush, Hannah! Actors are to be unseen and unheard until the curtain opens. Sorry about that. The fact is, the cast and I are just a little bit nervous about tonight and how it'll turn out because the play isn't quite finished. Oh no, don't worry. We're going to go on. We have to. The show must go on. As someone once said, I don't know who it was, but I'd love to get my hands around his neck. Anyways, as I said, the play isn't really quite finished. See, all the characters have great motives to kill. Well, you'll see who. But the thing is, Mr. St. John couldn't fully decide who would be the murderer. He wrote several endings, all of which were performed for him, but he still couldn't decide. As the opening night got closer and closer, the tension in the air got so thick you could cut it with a knife. It got so bad that Mr. St. John had what I'm sure will prove to be a temporary breakdown. The reason why he's not here with us tonight is because he is currently under heavy sedation in a very nice place full of soft walls and padding. Some people get all the luck. The cast and I are here though, and we are determined to put on an entertaining show for you, even if it kills us. That was just a joke. That brings me to the main point of me being up here, to tell you that you're going to have to help us. If you look in your programs, you'll notice that we've inserted a loose slip of paper. Please take that out. It's a ballad of sorts. You see, as you watch Act 1, you'll discover the characters and their motives to kill someone who will indeed be dead by the end of Act 1. During intermission, you can check on your ballot who you think is the murderer. Give those to one of the ushers before you take a break for intermission. We'll tally them quickly and perform the scene with the character the majority of you chose to be the murderer. At least that's what we hope will happen. It got very confusing during rehearsals.
No wonder we didn't kill the playwright.
Shush! Look, let's just get this thing over with. I've saved myself a seat in the front row to, follow along with the script and make sure nothing wrong happens, which it won't, but just in case. Well, you ready, cast?
As ready as we're gonna be.
Then, let's get started. Places, lights! Where's the edge of the stage?
It's too late to start the show. Come on.
bedroom just through that doorway. You mustn't startle him.
I'm sorry, Miss Withers, but you startled me.
My apologies, but dare I say a slight scare will do you no harm. However, a sudden shock to a man in his 90s could prove fatal. Remember that.
I will. I guess this terrible storm has made me a little bit edgy.
Yes, it is a tempestuous evening. I presume all of the guests have been shown to their rooms.
Yes, Miss Withers. Well, all but Mr. Starkweather's grandson, Mr. Simon III. It's a long way from his college, and this storm, you know.
I hope we can start without him. It's already past Mr. Starkweather's bedtime, and he must have his sleep.
I assure you, Miss Withers, Mr. Starkweather's bedroom is spotlessly clean.
Well, I certainly hope so. Mr. Starkweather's asthmatic condition causes the merest smell of dust, potentially lethal.
I've served in Mr. Starkweather's household for many years before you came along. I don't need you to tell me how to do my job. You've brought the coffee?
It's right here on the table, Mrs. Trent.
Good. Go back to the kitchen and help Minerva with the rest of the refreshments.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Starkweather has requested all the guests to be in the drawing room at 8 o'clock sharp. I'll ask Bensonhurst to fetch the guests from their rooms.
Mr. Starkweather will be ready. Coming, Mr. Starkweather! Wheelchair. Nearly got all the cars parked in the garage black, don't we?
As I've told you, oh, why do I waste my breath? You're dripping water all over the foyer. How many times do I have to tell you, Rufus, to not use the front door? The servants never use the front door.
Well, I reckon I forgot, Mr. Bensonhurst. Besides, it's raining out there.
I see that, and now it's looked as if it's been raining in here. Thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Go back the way you came and maneuver yourself around the back door. Do you think you can manage that?
Well, I don't know, but I suppose we're gonna find out.
When the last guest, young Master Simon, arrives, I shall summon you to come park his car.
Oh, good. While I'm waiting, I'll see about the fire and see if I can grow beans.
Don't be impertinent.
How can I be from now on means?
Just go do as you're told. Go into the kitchen and wait until I call for you. Not that way! The back door! That man is an idiot.
I heard that.
Where do you want this one, Minerva?
On the coffee table. Careful with it.
I think everything is ready.
You think wrong. Place the cups on the saucer, so all we'll have to do is pour the coffee.
Yes, ma'am.
The guests are coming down, and Mrs. Van Zandt has informed me that Mr. Starkweather wishes the servants to be there as well.
He wants the servants here?
Yes, precisely. Even Rufus. If I had been informed of the fact sooner, I would have ordered him to take a bath. But he's been out in the rain all night, parking cars, so perhaps I may help.
If you ask me, those flood wouldn't help.
Be that as it may, I shall summon him and Mrs. Trent.
Why would Mr. Starkweather want the servants to be here?
I'll pull out my crystal ball and let you know. Nancy, do you remember what I told you when you came to work here?
Yes, ma'am. Do as you're told and don't ask questions.
Exactly. Stick to that.
I will.
Go dust the table.
I will. Oh dear, I didn't know what to wear at special occasions. I suppose this is a special occasion after all, isn't it? Uncle Simon inviting us here.
I suppose so, since usually he treats us like lepers or something.
You think Uncle Simon treats us like jungle cats?
Not leopards, mother. Leper. Forget it. And don't worry, you look fine.
Thank you.
I'll tell you one thing.
we should ever inherit this mausoleum, we'll call it the Addams family. Let them know it's on the market.
Counting
Oh.
chickens, are we?
Hi, Minerva. We didn't see you there. And your attractive young helper.
Nancy is a nice girl. I intend for her to stay that way.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
I doubt that. Miss Fiona, why don't you have a seat and we'll bring you a cup of coffee.
Coffee? That sounds nice. It's a little damp out here. And here.
That's because it's a lot damp out there. Now how do you take it?
Mother prefers hers black. I'll take mine sweet, but I can sweeten it myself.
Whatever.
What lovely hors d'oeuvres. These are delicious. Glad you like them.
You're looking very pretty tonight, Nancy.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, that makes you feel as old as Great Uncle Simon. Please, call me Jordan.
She'll call you Mr. Starkwood, the way a proper maid should. If anyone else should call you by another name, it will be me, and you do not want to know which one I am thinking.
Minerva, you never change.
Neither do you, more's the pity. Now take a seat next to your mother.
Yes, Joe Sargent?
My goodness, Kathy. I don't understand how y'all can stand living out here in the boonies away from the fine restaurants, movies, and shopping centers. Why, I get so depressed, I just sit down and weep.
It's not that bad, Paula. I stay here during the week and go to my apartment in town most weekends.
Oh, I'm so relieved to hear that.
I worked for a large corporation before Mr. Starkweather hired me to be his personal secretary. And believe me, this position is much nicer.
Now look what we have here. 2 rays of sunshine to dispel the gloom. You look beautiful, ladies.
I swear, Cousin Jordan, you are a real bit of driver.
I do my best. Won't you join us?
Have a seat over there. You'll be safer. We'll bring you some coffee.
Thank you, Minerva. I take mine black.
And low mine down with lots of cream and sugar. I must admit, I have an enormous sweet tooth.
Maybe that's what causes the corn syrup accent.
How are you this evening, Cousin Fiona?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Paula.
That's just peachy. I swear, I don't understand why we don't see more of one another. Seems like the only time we get together is for somebody's funeral.
Aren't all funerals for somebody?
Don't be morbid, Cousin Jordan. I'm glad this weekend's an exception to the rule. For once, no one is dead.
For now.
Oh, that's okay, honey. Bless your heart, you didn't spill any. What did you mean by that remark, Jordan?
Oh, nothing. It's just that when you called to tell us to come to Starkweather Mansion, at first I thought you were going to say that he had passed on.
You wish.
I tried to pack my new black dress.
It was a natural assumption. I mean, he's up in his years and in pretty bad health. I was relieved to find out the old boy is still with us, of course.
Kathy, darling, I bet you know why Great Uncle Simon has asked us here this frightful evening. Come on, tell. Lois will go into the particulars, but I believe Mr. Starkweather brought us here to discuss his will.
Really now?
I'd appreciate if you didn't drool on the hors d'oeuvres.
I was just surprised. That's all.
Uh-huh. Where's Cousin Simon?
Should he be here too?
He said he would be here when I contacted him last week. Apparently he's going to be late. If he's tried to get through, the phones are dead, so he won't be able to.
Well, if we're gonna talk about the will, he should be here. After all, he is Great Uncle Simon's only grandchild.
Yeah, he'll probably get everything.
Excuse me a minute. sorry, you guys are doing great. You really are. Folks, I suggested to Mr. St. John that these family relationships might just be a tad bit confusing. He agreed and was going to write a scene that explained everything. What is that music? Fine. He was going to write a scene that explained everything. He was in the process of writing it when he snapped like a rubber band. So I'll just explain it to you. I think the family tree is in your programs too, but here's the way it works. Bring out the whiteboard! Come on. who in turn married and produced Simon III, the college student who's late for the gathering. The original Mrs. Starkweather, Simon Jr. and his wife are now deceased. Old Simon's older brother, Paul, married and produced a daughter, Bella, who married Lucian Thompson, an Atlanta businessman. And they had Paula. This is Paula.
Go away.
How rude. The original Paul, his wife, Bella, and Lucian are now deceased. Old Simon's younger brother, John, married and produced Ezra, who married Fiona Starkweather here. And they had Jordan. This is Jordan. You already know that. John, his wife, and Ezra are now deceased. Now, I realize there are a lot of dead people, but if we hadn't tried to include them in the play, it would have looked like a marching band had wandered up here and it would have been a whole mess. It was hard enough moving everyone around as it was. At any rate, Old Simon is Fiona's uncle by marriage and is Jordan and Paula's great uncle. That makes Jordan, Paula, and young Simon cousins. Second or third cousins, I'm not really sure how that works. Anyways, I hope that clears things up for you all. Carry on. Get the whiteboard out of here.
I don't even know where we are.
I don't even know who we are anymore.
We're students from, the lady in Rice Beatrice. Yes. Elijah.
What?
Give them their entrance cue.
What is it?
He'll probably get everything.
Who will?
Your cousin Simon.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, you'll probably get everything.
I'm very pleased with your investigation. I'll be glad to recommend you to some of my other clients.
Just doing my job, Miss Van Zandt. Good evening, everyone. I know we haven't met yet, but I've got a pretty good idea who you all are. Mrs. Starkweather and her son Jordan, right?
That's right, Mrs.
Davis. Call me Davis.
And by what Miss Van Zandt said, you're some sort of investigator?
You got it. A private investigator.
Oh, I see.
Who's this nice young lady, dear?
No, Mother, she's a detective. Get in big trouble.
A detective? Does that mean you know Jessica Fletcher?
No, ma'am. She's way too big for me. I do know who you two ladies must be, though.
You're a private investigator. I'd be surprised if you didn't.
That accent settles it. You're Paula Thompson.
You're 100% correct. I can't deny it from the deep south.
If you came from any English South, you live in Central America.
And that leaves you to be Kathy Collins. It's nice to finally meet you in person.
Me too, Michelle. Michelle and I have corresponded for some time by mailing facts on Mr. Starkweather's behalf.
Is this seat taken? No? Perfect.
I expect you to remain unobtrusive.
Sure will. As soon as I found a dictionary, look at it.
Just sit there by the fire and keep quiet.
Glad to. My backside still kind of soggy.
Keep an eye on him.
I shall do my best.
If all is in readiness, Mrs. Van Zandt, I shall inform Mr. Starkweather.
Yes, thank you, Bensonhurst.
There's coffee, if anybody else wants any.
I could use some Minerva.
How do you take it?
In a cup. Oh, that's good.
Clap, please.
Miss Van Zandt, I understand great Uncle Simon has asked us here to talk about his will.
That is correct. Frankly, I did not think it was such a good idea. Mr. Starkweather's health is precarious at best, and he doesn't need the excitement. I advised him to communicate with you all by mail, but he insisted on summoning you to Starkweather Mansion. I only hope he doesn't live to regret that decision.
Mrs. Withers is bringing Mr. Starkweather in to join us.
Can I move now?
Here you are, Mr. Starkweather.
Go! Go! Go!
I'll be right here if you need me.
To think, I was once surrounded by presidents and kings. Can my world have shrunk to this? A handful of relatives meager staff of hired help. Simon! 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 You're not Simon. Simon! Where's my grandson?
We presume he's on the way, Mr. Starkweather.
Can't wait for him. Not enough time anymore.
You're looking very great, good Uncle Simon.
Are you blind, boy? Or just a habitual liar?
I was only making pleasantries, Uncle.
Save your breath. You've always been a smooth talker, Jordan. That doesn't cut any ice with me. You've always been a greedy opportunist, boy. I ought to know. I was one myself at your age.
Oh, I guess it runs in the family then.
You have a point. Well, Fiona, you look the same.
I do. I thank you, Uncle Simon.
That wasn't necessarily meant as a compliment.
Good Uncle Simon, you're awful.
At my age, and with my money, I can afford to say exactly what I think. And I do. Now, how's my little Georgia Peach?
Me? I'm just peachy.
I may barf.
Would you care for some coffee, Mr. Starkweather?
He must have it. Coffee could keep him awake, which could affect his blood pressure. His medication causes it to run a little high at times.
Apparently, I won't be having any, Minerva. You heard my keeper?
Yes, sir.
Everyone aspires to live to a ripe old age. And for what? To be kept alive by medicines and machines? To be prevented from enjoying so much of life's little pleasures? Like a cup of coffee?
You must excite yourself, Mr. Starkweather.
You see? Not even allowed to feel any strong emotions.
Well, that's a bummer.
Ah, you put it very succinctly, Rufus. Old age is a bummer. I could have searched my vocabulary extensively and not come up with such an apt description. Bummer.
Glad you like it. Rufus, sit down.
According to my doctors, I won't have to remain imprisoned in this weak old body much longer. There's only one thing I aim to leave behind. My money.
You know what they say, Uncle. You can't take it with you.
Yes, that's what they say. So several years ago, I had Lois here drop my will. I suppose you'd like to know how I provided for you, my heirs.
Well, I, for one, am just a teensy bit curious, great Uncle Simon.
A teensy bit, eh?
I was afraid something like this would have happened.
Look what you've done to me. I did it.
Should somebody call an ambulance?
We can't. The phones are dead.
No need. He just needs to breathe pure oxygen for a few moments.
He's making me go. Tell them!
Very well. This is the will Mr. Starkweather was referring to. As you know, he has been a phenomenally successful businessman for many years.
I'll say. He's been on the cover of Forbes magazine at least a dozen times.
My name really?
He has the distinction of becoming one of the world's first billionaires.
20 years ago, I begged your Ezra to ask his Uncle Simon to advise him on his business investments, but he was too proud.
Dad and his pride. A lot of pride, very little money.
If I may continue.
It's alright.
His fortune is now worth in the neighborhood of $50 billion.
If I'd known that, I'd ask for a raise.
I won't go into the details of the will, but it essentially bequeaths $1 million each to his household staff. Bensonhurst, his butler, Minerva Walker, his cook, Mrs. Trent, his housekeeper, Miss Withers, his nurse, equally among his surviving relatives. They are his grandson, Simon III, his niece, Fiona Starkweather, and her son Jordan, who shares 1/3, and his great-niece, Paula Thompson.
How nice.
Always knew you'd do right by us, Uncle.
I know you got mad when Mama married a Southern boy, Great Uncle Simon, but you two must agree on one thing. Blood is thicker than water.
Man, Miss Whirler can tell you if it is.
He gets it.
Now that I've informed you of the will's contents, I have another announcement to make. As of tomorrow, this will becomes invalid.
It means no good?
I got a brother that's invalid.
Miss Van Zandt means we're not gonna get the money, fool.
Guess I won't be buying that big screen TV I was thinking about after all.
Sit! You too, Lois.
Why did you decide to disinherit us, Uncle?
I found a better use for my money. That's why. Oh, I didn't cut you out entirely. All of you in the old will will still get $50,000.
50,000 out of 50 billion?
Lois advised me it'd be a good idea to leave you all a little something. That way, you'd be less likely to contest my new will.
New will?
Yes, that's why I asked Kathy to stay over at Starkweather Mansion this weekend to type it up all nice and legal for my signature. Davis, as a disinterested party, will witness the signing. Lois will file it at the courthouse come Monday.
Wait. Miss Davis said she's a detective. What do you want her to do?
Mr. Starkweather hired me to conduct an investigation on the quiet. For the last 6 months, I've flown to a dozen or more foreign countries, searching for some of the world's most brilliant scientists. Some well known, others prefer to keep their experiments hush-hush. I succeeded in finding one in Belgium. Let's call him Dr. X, who agreed to help Mr. Starkweather do what he desires, which is to clone himself.
To clone us?
Oh my goodness!
That's insane.
What nonsense! You must be kidding!
It's immoral! I don't understand.
Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Those blood and skin samples you had to compare. The ones you said would be examined by specialists?
They were examined by specialists with us. Specialists in DNA.
I thought you were trying to find a cure.
I was. Not a cure for my various ailments, but a cure for dying, and I did find it.
Cloning.
Precisely. Through modern science, I shall live forever.
It's not right.
That's neither here nor there. Let the moralists and politicians debate that question for decades to come. In the meantime, Dr. X will be creating a brand new me. Sit down with us. The lot of you seem displeased. Not, I suspect, because of the moral question, but because of your change in fortune. Too bad! Cloning is very expensive, especially since the process I require must be done in absolute secrecy. But there will still be a sizable fortune for the new me to inherit. No doubt, I will become the first person on Earth to become my own heir. Withers! My blood pressure!
Yes, Mr. Starkweather. If you will excuse me, I need to take Mr. Starkweather's blood pressure. Why don't you take it right here? This is an outsize cuff, meant to go around the patient's thigh. His arms are too frail for me to get a reading from him. He can stand his pressure much better there. Now, if you will excuse me, Mr. Starkweather has had Enough excitement for one day. I shall put him to bed.
I guess our meeting is concluded, unless anyone has any questions.
I do. What the heck was that all about?
Well, it's simple, Rufus. Great Uncle Simon was gonna give us all a hefty fortune. But he changed his mind and said he's gonna clone himself? Yes, Rufus.
What does clone mean?
It means to take the cells from somebody's body and make a duplicate of the original.
I can do that? That's great. Maybe when the old Mr. Simon passes, I can get a job working for the new one.
The new Mr. Starkweather will be born and grown up. It goes against all laws of nature. How?
It has all been arranged. Once Dr. X has created the new life, the cells will be implanted in a host mother who will carry the child to term.
Host mother? Who? Me.
Congratulations.
Why not? I'm young and healthy. I'll make a suitable mother for little Simon.
How could you condone such a travesty?
Why not? I'll be well compensated. Besides, have you ever known anyone else to be the mother of a baby billionaire?
Oh, Simon's giving his money to a baby?
In a matter of speaking, yes. The new will places Mr. Starkweather's fortune into a trust fund, which I'll administer. I'll release the money to pay Dr. X and his staff to perform the cloning procedure. After that, ample funds will be available to provide for Kathy's needs and the child's upbringing and education. Once he's grown and properly trained to deal in high finance, the fortune will be turned over to him.
The child will look, think, and act like Simon Starkweather. He could conceivably probably lose billions into trillions by the time he's an old man.
But for what purpose? To make another clone, and then another, and then another? When will it ever end? Will there be a Simon Starkweather with money and power to rule the world?
We didn't discuss it, but you might well be right.
How could you condone such a travesty?
Oh, I can see why she would. Miss Spence and that Collins girl will live like billionaires themselves after Mr. Starkweather's money. Money that should have gone to us and his family. And I suppose you'll get rich too, since you had a part of this scheme.
Not me. I did the job I was paid to do. My part's over. I'll take my money and go. Frankly, I don't care if the boss's science fiction experiment works or not.
You should be ashamed. You all should be ashamed.
I think you ladies made your point quite clear. Now, if you and the other servants may join me in the kitchen, I wish to speak to you all. We will clean up after you are finished. I trust that you will ring if you require any assistance. It might be kind of nice hearing the pitter-patter feet going around the house. But hey, dream.
Kathy and I will retire to my room. You might as well begin typing up the new will. I'll direct you how to put everything in the proper order.
Lois, the sooner said is what? Hey, wait a minute. How come nobody asked me if I wanted to carry the baby? I would do it just as well as she can.
You're Mr. Starkweather's bloodkin, Paula. It wouldn't be proper.
I guess it would be kinda tacky, wouldn't it?
Proper? You're about to conduct an experiment that makes Frankenstein look like an amateur.
Cool it before you burst the blood vessel. Mr. Starkweather's made up his mind, and I get the feeling that whatever he wants, he gets.
Succinctly put, Miss Davis. Kathy?
I'm going to head upstairs and pack. As soon as I sign Mr. Starkweather, or witness Mr. Starkweather signing that new will, I'm out of here. Good night.
You're wrong!
We were?
Yes, Mother, not like that. But Great Uncle Simon dangled a fortune right in front of our eyes and then snatched it away.
That was mean.
Me? The man is a monster! Did you see the evil glint in his eye? He enjoyed pulling the rug right out from under our feet.
At least he's leaving us 50,000.
Well, that's like tossing a dime to a beggar. And he's just doing it so we don't contest his new will. You heard him.
Yeah.
I wish you were dead. I wish you would drop dead tonight.
It would serve him right.
If Uncle Simon did die tonight, we would all get our money, wouldn't we, dears? Anyone forgive a bridge?
That's all I can afford to pay now.
Mr. Starkweather.
It's Jordan, remember? At least when Minerva the dragon lady isn't around.
I thought everyone had gone to bed.
Well, I was about to turn in, and I got the urge for a midnight snack.
I'll get you something.
Oh, never mind. What are you doing?
I was making sure the fire screen was properly closed so no sparks pop out onto the rug.
And burn Starkweather Mansion to the ground? Maybe that wouldn't be such a bad idea.
You shouldn't talk like that. You know Mr. Starkweather's an invalid. How could he...
You read my mind.
Jordan!
Ah! I got you to call me by my first name.
You shouldn't suggest such a thing. It's wicked.
Oh, why should I surprise you? Everyone knows I'm the black sheep in the family. If it happened tonight, you'd have $1 million. And I would have billions. Think of the good times we could have together.
Don't.
It's a tempting thought, admit it.
It's not. It's a horrible idea.
Which part? Getting the money or you and me together?
The part about the money.
Nancy, I thought you were going to help me with the dishes.
I was just checking the French doors, Minerva, to make sure they were properly closed.
I see. And what are you doing in here?
I was just grabbing a snack. I saw Nancy, so we had a wee chat.
That appetite of yours is going to get you in trouble one of these days.
Minerva, what are you doing with that knife?
Mincing onions.
At midnight?
I cannot stand to have anybody see me cry.
Okay.
If you're hungry, come with me. I'll find you something.
Yes, Minerva, anything you say, Minerva.
And Nancy, finish checking and come give me a hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on.
Someone coming in here. Who's this me? I see that. Good grief, man! What are you doing with that axe?
Well, I was chopping wood for the fire before it started raining, but I forgot to put the axe back in the shed. So I thought I'd go grab it and dry it off so it don't rust.
That's fine, but why'd you bring it into the living room? Besides, how many times do I have to tell you to use the back door?
As many times as you want. I ain't counting.
I swear, Rufus, you're going to be the death of me yet! Go into the kitchen and ask Mrs. Trent for a towel.
But I ain't wet. It quit raining.
I know that. For the axe.
All right.
The back door! If that man had a brain, he'd be dangerous. Heard that.
A penny for your thoughts?
Jordan! What are you doing up this late? I just came down to get a drink and to get away from all that madness.
Munchies, want a cookie?
No thanks.
Alright. So, did you and Miss Van Zandt finish the new will?
Yep, it's all ready and finished except for Mr. Starkweather's signature. I see you've calmed down. I wouldn't blame you if you hated me.
Why should I hate you? I'd do the same thing if I were in your shoes.
I'm sure you would, Jordan.
Minerva was right. Being the mother of little Simon will be the next best thing to owning billions yourself.
What do you mean?
Well, aren't you forgetting something? The type will need a dad too. And I know a good dad.
What do you mean?
You're a very attractive woman, Kathy. We would make a great match.
Get your crummy hands off me!
What?
Getting cookie crumbs on my blouse.
Oh.
And by the way, if I decide little Simon needs a father after he's born, I'll pick a suitable husband then. He won't be a sleazy, money-hungry slime ball like
I could kill you, you witch!
I wouldn't try it if I were you. I'm the detective in the house.
You...
You finished getting here, girl.
I need to make everything all right.
Okay then. Well, hurry up and finish in here. Minerva wants you in the kitchen.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone left the French doors open. Fine, I guess. I'll close them. Never find good help around here. Is anyone still outside? I'm closing the doors. Miss Thompson?
Mrs. Trent, you gave me a fright.
Guess I should be glad you didn't shoot me. What on earth are you doing roaming around the house in the middle of the night with a gun in your hand?
Oh, don't worry. I know how to handle a gun. I couldn't sleep, so I thought I was gonna head to the kitchen and clean it with some oil.
I don't think you'll find what you need in there, unless you want to rub that thing with Crisco. Do you often carry that around with you?
Oh, I take it everywhere I go. You know, my daddy taught me to be a crack shot when I was 10 years old. A girl can't be too careful.
Well, I don't think you have anything to worry about at the Starkweather Mansion. It's miles away from the nearest town. No one ever comes up this way.
You mean you've never had a burglar or a prowler before?
No.
You know, with great Uncle Simon so sick and all, it's a wonder somebody hasn't tried to break through those French doors and do who knows what.
Like, shoot him?
Well, it could happen. As terrible as that thought is. In his condition, how could he defend himself?
You could stick Nurse Withers on them. I suppose that would frighten any intruders away.
You're awful. But you know what? I wouldn't want to tangle with that woman. Where does she sleep?
In the room beyond Mr. Starkweather's, so she can hear him if he rings the bell at night.
So, let's see if I remember correctly. When Mama brought me here when I was just a little girl, that room used to be a library, and the one beyond it used to be a parlor. Am I right?
That's correct. Mr. Starkweather became too old to go up and down those stairs, so the library was converted into a bedroom, and Nurse Withers took the parlor.
So, they're the only ones who sleep downstairs.
That's correct. The servants' quarters are in the attic, under the eaves. We have our own staircase in the kitchen. Why do you ask?
Oh, just curious.
Excuse me! Folks, I suggested to Mr. St. John that section of dialogue was a little awkward. You know what? I need a spotlight. Spotlight, please! Thank you. As I said, I suggested to Mr. St. John that little piece of dialogue, what? Was kind of a little bit awkward and suggested to him that he change it. But he thought we needed to get an idea of the layout of the house. He said I had to leave it in there, so I did. But I wanted you to know that it's a bad piece of writing, and I tried to correct it. That's all.
Joy. Next time you decide to interrupt us, you're gonna bring that script up here and play Paula yourself. Understood?
Sorry. That was awesome! I wish I could hear her.
Thanks. She can be a little much.
Hey!
Where were we?
Oh, you're curious about the layout of the house?
Oh, yeah, just curious.
You know they say, curiosity kills the cat.
Yes, well, if you'll excuse me.
Wouldn't it be ironic if someone broke in tonight, of all of the nights, and
Oh, no. Mrs. Starkweather!
Messenger, you look afraid me to death.
My apologies. May I ask what type of pills you have just strewn about the room?
Digitalis, for my heart. I have a heart condition.
Digitalis? Doesn't that speed up one's heart rate?
Yes, maybe I should take 2.
Perhaps a single dose would suffice. I presume an overdose is fatal.
Extremely fatal. Or my being redundant. I suppose fatal is fatal, just like dead is dead. Don't you agree?
Completely. One cannot be deader than the other. Deader longer, perhaps, but that's the only comparison that comes to mind. May I ask why you brought the medication into the living room?
Why? That's a very good question. Why did I bring them down here? Oh, I remember. I was going to ask Miss Withers if she might have any manufacturing samples of digitalis I could have.
But it looked as if your bottle was already full.
It was, but it never hurts to plan ahead. I suppose we should pick these up.
I'll assist you.
Bensonhurst, can I ask you something?
Be my guest.
Have you a wrench?
Oh, a wrench. Yeah. I remember Mrs. Withers telling me that a valve in the gas heater in Mr. Starkweather's room was a little bit loose, so I thought I'd give it a little turn or two.
How mechanical of you. We wouldn't want any of that gas to escape in Uncle Simon's room, would we?
Naturally not. But first things first. Shall we?
I feel like a pigeon pecking popcorn.
Oh, you missed one there. Where you left me go? Left. No, left. Oh.
There's one.
Jeez, these ones have just gone everywhere. Guess that's what happens when objects are round. Don't you think, agree?
Mrs. Starkweather,
Miss Withers,
what are you doing on the floor with Bensonhurst?
picking up spilled pills.
I presume Mr. Starkweather has acquired another injection. Is there a problem?
No, nothing I can handle. His lungs seem to be somewhat congested. So I took him and I sat him up in his wheelchair. He can breathe easier in an upright position, and then I gave him an injection of steroids to help open his bronchial passage. I see.
Huh. My, where would Uncle Simon be without you?
Dead. Without me, his heart would stop beating long ago.
Which reminds me, Madam, wasn't there something you wanted to ask Mrs. Withers?
Was there? Oh, I remember. There's Withers. Might you have any manufacturer samples of digitalis I could have? I tend to bring it.
Yes, I can see why you would. No, your uncle requires every pill he's got to keep him going.
Then I suppose we'd better pick all these up, shouldn't we? Will you assist us?
I suppose.
Is this a private game or can anybody play?
Miss Dave, we can just go home.
Is that it? I thought you were holding a tiny little marble tournament. I'll pass.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, I shall give you mine.
Oh. And here are mine. Oops. I'll drop one there.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I really must return to my duties.
Miss Withers, how's the boss?
Bossy. He sent me for a pitcher of fresh drinking water. If I'm not back in a minute, he'll start ringing his bell for me. See what I mean? I'll be right there, Mr. Starkweather.
I gather he rings for you a lot?
Incessantly. When he stops ringing his bell, I'll know he's kicked the bucket. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go to my room.
Spoken like a true member of the medical profession. Well, what's with the wrench, Bensonhurst? Got some kind of problem I can help you with?
Thank you, ma'am, but No. It'll wait. I, too, shall excuse myself.
Well, you're up kind of late, Mrs. Starkweather.
Couldn't sleep. What about you?
I'm a real night owl. Besides, I was hoping young Simon would show up. I haven't met him yet.
Simon's a sweet boy. I do hope he's all right. You know, with the storm and all.
He might have pulled off the road to let it pass. It is starting to cloud over again. We could be in for another deluge.
I sure hope not. Well, I'd better go to bed.
Good night, Mrs. Starkweather.
Good night. Sweet dreams. See you in the morning.
You too.
Look, another one. Night night.
Coming, Mr. Starkweather.
Oh, you're still here.
Just keeping an eye on things.
I see. Well, my patience.
You're up too, Miss Davis? Yeah, and I'm not the only one. There seems to be more traffic passing through Starkweather Mansion at midnight than goes down the interstate at rush hour.
I know what you mean. I've been hearing footsteps go past my bedroom door all evening. I'm not surprised, though. We could have guessed that Mr. Starkweather's announcement would give his heirs a sleepless night or two.
Between us, Miss Van Zandt, this cloning business, how do you feel about it?
I'm a lawyer, Miss Davis. I'm paid to think, not feel. Can he be cloned? Definitely. There's no question the technology exists. Should he be cloned? Let's just say I wouldn't want to be the first to challenge nature by creating another Lois Van Zandt.
Me too. I'm a simple gal. I got enough trouble to deal with in one lifetime. The sooner we get the signing over and I can get back to the real world, the better.
The new will is finished. Mr. Starkweather can sign it first thing in the morning.
I think he's still awake. That nurse was in here a minute ago. I heard him ringing his bell for her.
In that case, there's no reason he can't sign it now.
That's what I'm thinking. The people in this house are as tense as a bunch of long-tailed cats in a room full of rocking chairs. I know I'll feel better once the boss's plan is a done deal.
I'll go up to my room and get the will. Why don't you let Mr. Starkweather know? What in the world?
The circuit breaker must have tripped.
But the storm passed hours ago.
I know. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I'm gonna go find Ben's house and have him show me where the main breaker is.
Good. I'll let Mr. Starkweather know we're handling it.
Tools of the trade.
Don't worry, Mr. Starkweather. Mr. Starkweather?
Hello? Is anybody in here? Bensonhurst? Minerva? Anybody?
Kathy, I think there's something wrong with Mr. Starkweather. I don't know where that nurse is.
Oh no, he hasn't signed the will yet, has he?
No, perhaps he just fainted. We need light.
What happened? Someone struck me. It's Mr. Starkweather, help him!
I heard a scream. Oh.
What in tarnation? Mr. Starkweather has been strangled. The blood pressure cuff has been put around him and pumped up to the maximum. Mr. Starkweather has been strangled to death.
Poor Mr. Starkweather. Who could have done such a thing?
Give me a break. I'd say you and everybody else in this room are right up there at the top 10 list.
Excuse me!
Not fair.
Let me check the body.
Those drops on his robe, are they blood?
Not sure.
What those could...
I'll handle it. I'm the detective, remember? What can you tell us, Miss Withers?
Well, I brought him his pitcher of fresh drinking water as he requested, and then I went to my room and lied down. Then the lights went out.
And then when I came to it, well, yeah, we can take it from there.
You seem to be in charge, Miss Davis. What do we do?
We keep trying the phones to get through to the cops. If the lines run out by morning, someone will have to drive into town and report that there has been a murder at Starkweather Mansion.
Maybe the old man did himself. Or not. Young Mr. Simon, you made it. Boy, do we have a surprise for you.
Lights, please. Lights. Thank you. No wonder he went bonkers. Now, remember, during intermission, we need you to check off on your ballot who you think is the murderer. And then you can give it to one of the ushers before you take a break. You know, that'll all work out. You know, just in case you don't have to, you know, go for a drink of water or anything. I'll see you in 15 minutes or 25 minutes. Or, this is not my time to shine.
Okay. Before we have any more unforeseen interruptions, thank you, Joy. Give her a round of applause.
I don't know who you are, but thank you. Thank you. Now, folks, there are a couple of things that Mr. St. John made sure that he wanted to include in the second act. Once he decided who would be the killer, the cast will work those into the show. I just wanted y'all to know so that you can continue to play armchair detective and try to guess the murderer's identity. That's everything, I believe. Relax and enjoy the conclusion of Murders in the Air.
Where's the edge of the stage there?
Dead? Can't believe Grandfather's dead.
Well, he is, Cousin Simon. He's the deadest person I ever saw.
But he used to say that Bensonhurst and I were discussing the degrees of dead earlier.
Mother, please. And he was murdered.
There's no doubt about it. You saw the body.
Poor Grandfather. If only I got here sooner, maybe I
How do we know you didn't get here sooner?
Wait.
For all we know, you could have showed up hours ago, parked your car on a site, snuck in, and killed the lights moments before you killed Simon Starkweather.
That's ridiculous. Why would I kill him?
I'd say a third of a $50 billion fortune is good enough reason to knock somebody off. If Mr. Starkweather had signed a new will.
But I didn't know about the new will. And I didn't even know about the crazy cloning scheme you told me about.
Well, easy enough to eavesdrop just outside those French doors and listen in on the whole conversation.
Why would I do that? I was expected here. And besides, I already told you what happened.
Tell me again.
Why? I've already told you.
Just do it.
Fine. So on a creep at a snail's pace on that long country road from town. Rain was lashing my windshield so hard I could barely see. Branches were flinging off of trees and flinging against my car. It was like driving through a hurricane. When I got to the bridge that spanned this stream which flowed around the estate, I had to stop. The stream had turned into a raging river and had torn the bridge to pieces. I remembered about an old tree that fell across about a mile from there. I used to play on it when I was a wee lad, and I managed to cross it even though the water had nearly covered the trunk. Apparently, I got here just after Grandfather was murdered.
That's a good story, but it sounds rehearsed.
Not nearly enough. It's the truth, I swear it.
Maybe, but I'm still not crossing you off my suspect list.
And who else do you have on that suspect list?
Everyone in this house except for Miss Van Zandt and Miss Collins. Those two had a heck of a lot to gain if your grandfather had only lived a few more minutes. As it turns out, they're left in the cold.
Especially me. Lois's other clients. Now I'm among the unemployed.
I'm sure once the estate is settled, we can arrange for a generous servant's check to be given to you.
Oh, take it out of your portion if you like. Mother and I will pass.
Oh, so will I. Nothing personal, of course.
Of course.
What do we do now?
The way I see it, we sit tight till daybreak. In the morning, I'll have you drive me into town, and we'll tell what we know to the police. We'll report to them that the bridge is out. My guess is that the cops will fly in by helicopters. They'll have to take the body to the coroner's office, examine the crime scene, and take everyone's statements. Once a homicide detective is assigned to the case, I'm out of here.
But you're a detective too, and you were right here when the murder occurred. If anyone had a better chance of solving this, you do.
Sorry, but now that Mr. Starkweather is dead, I'm off the payroll. Once I give the big boys my statement, I'm finished.
I'll hire you to stay. I might not have the money to pay you right now, but if you're willing to wait for it...
You're on. I figure you're good for the dough. Incidentally, that offer dropped you down to the bottom of my suspect list. Well, might as well start making my salary.
How can we help, Miss Davis?
First, I want to know where all of you were at the time of the murder.
Establish everyone's alibis.
Yeah. I also want to know anything any of you could have seen or heard in the few hours before Mr. Starkweather's murder.
Clues.
You got it. Motives, alibis, and clues, and that's what a detective has to work with. The motives in this case are obvious. The other elements aren't yet, but they will be by the time I'm finished.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Who do you want to start with, Miss Davis?
Since you're paying the freight, call me Michelle. How about you, Miss Thompson? Do you mind being first?
Well, I'm awfully tired, but if I have to...
Don't have to.
Good.
None of us do.
What do you mean, dear?
Well, I mean, Miss Davis isn't a police officer. We don't have to tell you the time of day.
You're right, Cousin Jordan. But why would you refuse to cooperate unless you have something to hide?
Now, look, Simon, don't start accusing me unless you can prove it.
Simon has a point. Do you want me to tell the cops that everyone cooperated except for you?
Fine. Answer your stupid questions. But first, I'm going to take my mother upstairs and have her lie in bed. She's old.
Why thank you, Jordan. I love spring chicken, but I'm not Miss Methuselah either.
Don't get excited, Mother. Are you okay to eat your digitalis?
No, but if I did, there's probably one or two still under the sofa. I had a little accident with my pill bottle earlier.
Okay. Come along. You can call when you're ready for
I assume you want to question everyone in private. You can wait with me in my room, Kathy. I want to go over the old will again, since it will remain the official one.
Sure, Lois. Excuse us.
I would like to stay. Since I wasn't here earlier, hearing everyone's alibi would give me a clearer picture of what happened earlier tonight.
You're the boss now. I'm particularly interested in what happened between the time that Mr. Starkweather announced he was changing his will and the time the body was discovered.
How long was that?
Several hours. Well, Miss Thompson?
Yeah.
Do you recall anything during that time frame that might help us?
Well, I was disappointed by Great Uncle Simon's announcement, as you might as well imagine. I mean, I can understand why you might want to clone Tom Holland or even Tom Cruise. Great Uncle Simon, no offense, Cousin Simon, but your grandfather was not a very nice person. Anyways, I spent most of that time in my room. I did come downstairs once on a little errand and kind of bumped into Mrs. Trent. I was in the kitchen when I heard Minerva and that cute little maid Nancy talking.
What's the matter with you, girl? Did you leave your mind in the other room? You haven't heard of what I said.
I'm sorry, Minerva. I'm so confused.
About what? Had no good scamp Jordan been bothering you?
Jordan? I mean, Mr. Starkweather? Why would you say that?
When I walked in on the two of you earlier, you were standing mighty close together. Real lovey-dovey like. What was he saying to you?
I think he wanted me
To do something you didn't want to do?
Yes, but it's not what you're thinking.
I'll bet that boy tries anything, I'll cut him down to size.
Minerva, no! He's not interested in me. I heard him talking with Miss Collins, and he...
I get the picture. When you lost your million, he lost interest in you, didn't he? He's following the money right to the Collins girl, isn't he?
He proposed to her, but she laughed at him.
Good for her. Serves him right, the lazy bum.
Don't call him that.
Ah, you're hung up on him, aren't you? Don't be a fool, Nancy. Jordan will just use you and toss you aside like he's done with a dozen other girls.
Maybe he's ready to settle down. If Mr. Starkweather hadn't changed his will, he would be free to...
Free to do what?
Nothing. If we're done, I'd like to go to my room.
Go on. And Nancy,
Yes?
lock your door.
Excuse me. That little scene in the foyer was a flashback. It showed a conversation Paula overheard before the murder. Other conversations will be shown in flashbacks as well. Isn't that clever? Yes, I just wanted to make sure you got that. Carry on.
She is really asking for it. She does this all the time. Anyways, Mrs. Trent, do you recall saying anything suspicious before the murder?
Suspicious? Well, I suppose taunting a gun around the house is suspicious, even though Mr. Starkweather wasn't shot to death.
Gun? Who has a gun?
Besides me.
Paula Thompson, that's who. Claims she's a regular Annie Oakley. Says how easy it would be for someone to walk through those French doors and kill Mr. Starkweather.
Did she know?
Ask her yourself.
Anything else?
Well, I did overhear a rather odd conversation between Mrs. Starkweather and Rufus. I was upstairs passing out candles in case of a power failure, which, as you now know, became very useful. I was turning onto the west wing when I saw Mrs. Starkweather at the far end of the hall, near the stairs.
Rufus, you really scared me out of a year's breath.
Oh, that's okay, ma'am. At our age, we do all our growing sideways, don't we now?
I sure hope not. What do you do with that television set? It does not look like a portable.
Well, it is now. I'm borrowing it from one of the guest rooms that ain't in use.
Whatever for?
Well, see, I ain't sleepy at night, so I thought I'd watch some TV. But the set in my room's all messed up. The color, I mean. Every daggone channel's green. ABC's green, CNN's green, and even Princess Bride's green.
How disconcerting.
You say that again. Favorite mints. Ooh, are they breath mints? I wouldn't mind if you. I can still taste them. Okay.
Rufus, no, you mustn't have any of these. If you took any of these, it could kill you.
Well, in that case, I'll pass. Better not leave them lying around, though. Somebody could have one by mistake and kneel over dead.
That's entirely possible.
What would you put on their death certificate? Cause of death, bad breath?
And not allowed to matter. I'll be careful with these. I need every single one of these, you see.
If you say so. Want to help me with this? Excuse us?
So Rufus had an axe in the house?
Yes, Master Simon. I had instructed him to chop some firewood earlier.
I'm surprised you trust Rufus with an axe.
Personally, I don't trust him with a butter knife. But I was simply relaying Mr. Starkweather's instructions.
Was there anything else important you happened to notice?
Just one, ma'am. Earlier tonight, I was coming from the kitchen, and I saw Master Jordan at the door to Mr. Starkweather's room. The hallway door, not that door. His behavior was somewhat furtive. He gave the impression he was about to enter when Mrs. Withers came out. It was apparent that her unexpected appearance had startled Master Jordan.
Well, what do you want?
I was just gonna check on Great Uncle Simon.
No need. That's what I'm paid to do.
Right. Well, how is he?
Breathing, if that's what you want to know.
How long do you think he'll make it?
Let's just say he needn't start any long novels. Or even short stories.
Yeesh. You think he'll make it through the night, though?
I think he'll keep his heart beating through sheer determination, long enough to sign the new will, if that's what you're wondering about.
Oh, you mistake me. I was just curious.
Give it a rest, Jordan. You'd love to see him drop dead before daybreak, just like nearly everyone else in this house.
Including you. $1 million is a fortune. A lot of people would kill for that kind of money.
If that's a hint, forget it, Jordan. As Mr. Starkweather's nurse, I'd be the prime suspect if his death were to appear as anything but natural causes.
Well, suspecting and proving are two very different things.
I'm going to forget that you said that. Good night. It's true. Jordan Starkweather did hint that I was in a position to end his great uncle's life, but I assume that the nurse also told you that I refused.
He did, but you could have changed your mind.
In killing him with a blood pressure cuff? Hardly what you would have called natural causes.
I agree. The manner by which she was murdered is what confuses me the most.
It's as if the killer was flaunting the deed in our faces.
Why would they do that?
That's a good question. Say, Miss Withers, if you had to choose a likely suspect to be our murderer, who would you say it is?
Off the record, that Thompson girl, his great niece, she's too goody for my taste. Those southern girls can pour on charm whenever they want to, but Scarlet O'Hare was pretty ruthless when you get down to it.
We've been told that Cousin Paula has a gun.
See what I mean? Dare I say she and Jordan were both desperate to get their hands on Mr. Starkweather's millions? I overheard them talking. I heard them while I was in the corridor. They didn't notice me.
Well, what are we going to do?
What can we do? It's out of our hands.
Don't be such a whip, Cousin Jordan. Our money rightfully belongs to us.
I know.
There's gotta be a way to get it.
Maybe we can have the will broken if we have Uncle Simon declared insane.
I've thought about that, but it won't work. If cloning was just a wild theory, we probably could, but it isn't. It's been done. His plan to be the first person to clone himself might be bizarre, but it isn't insane. We'd lose the case.
And probably spend the pittance we're going to inherit on the lawyers.
Like that Miss Van Zandt. She's so...
Yeah.
Oh.
What is it? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, if you can't beat him, join him.
Huh?
I just came up with a way to get Miss Van Zandt to put me on her team.
Well, what is it?
Fend for yourself, Jordan.
No.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to talk to that lawyer.
If you can't beat him. Oh. Now, where would Kathy be?
It's true. Jordan did suggest we get married. It wasn't what you'd call a romantic proposal. It was more like a business proposition.
You were gonna have access to billions. What did Cousin Jordan have to offer you?
Himself, I guess. In my opinion, that fortune hunter wouldn't be worth 2 cents.
Then you did turn him down.
Jordan was attractive in a smarmy sort of way, but any woman who married him would be a fool. And believe me, Michelle, I'm no fool.
I knew that from the time we started working together.
You were smart enough to carry grandfather's clone.
Look, Simon, once Mr. Starkweather decided to clone himself, nothing was going to change that. He would have found a surrogate mother somewhere, so it might as well have been me.
I understand. The whole idea of cloning himself was creepy.
You're a lot nicer about it than the other heirs were.
For example,
Paula, for one. She hasn't given up hope of getting her hands on Starkweather's money.
how do you know?
I was in Lois's room with her when Paula knocked on the door saying that she needed to talk to Lois in private. Lois went out with her, but they didn't shut the door all the way, so I couldn't help but overhear their conversation.
We're very busy, Miss Thompson.
Preparing that new will?
Yes.
Miss Van Zandt, you're a lawyer. Sure this cloning business is legal? You could lose your license to practice, couldn't you?
The process will be performed in Belgium, as we told you. Our laws don't apply there.
What about ethics? Haven't lawyers been disbarred before for behavior that was unethical and illegal?
What's your point?
I want in on the deal. You can pay me from the trust fund to be the baby's nanny or whatever. I don't care what you name the position. If you refuse, I shall be forced to report you to the Bar Association. Oh, bless your heart. Isn't that what you call it?
It is. Let me give you a little free legal advice, Miss Thompson. In the first place, if you make any accusations against me before the cloning procedure is completed successfully, I'll sue you for the $50,000 you're due to receive and everything else you own, and I'll get it. In the second place, once the baby's on the way, I plan to close down my office. I shall devote all of my time to Kathy in little Simon's care. At that point, it won't bother me in the least if I should be disbarred. You don't have to be a lawyer to administer an estate. Anyone can do it.
Oh.
So you see, young woman, your threats are meaningless. In fact, as an officer of the court, I should report your feeble attempt at extortion to the police.
I wasn't going
Say
to.
it. take your silly southern self out of my sight, and I might be willing to forget it.
All right, I'll go. You lawyer!
Excuse me.
Yes?
Mrs. Trent.
I found what was left of some of the Christmas candles I stored away. I thought it might be useful to pass them out in case of a fire failure. I suggest you'll keep one in some matches nearby.
Yes, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Kathy's in my room. I'll take one for her also.
Miss Thompson.
Yes?
Candle.
All right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to my room. There's something there I need to get. Get out of my way.
What's the matter with her?
Let's just say she's a sore loser. She played her ace, and I trumped it. In a matter of speaking, I'll give this to Kathy.
When Miss Collins saw the body and screamed, you ran in the front door. What have you been doing outside, Rufus? Rufus.
Was I outside? Yep, I guess I was. I remember now. I was grabbing the TV from one of the guest rooms.
We heard why, Rufus.
Did? You sure travels fast around here.
Yes, all the actors on your screen were green.
They sure were. Looked like Martians had landed or something. When I hooked up the new set, it was fuzzy as bloody worm. So, I tried to get up on the house and try and turn the antenna around like...
On the roof?
Wouldn't do too much good to do it in the basement now, would it? I was about to grab a tall ladder out of the storage shed when I heard the go holla bloody murder. Murder, anyway, even if it wasn't bloody.
Do you remember seeing anything outside?
Well, I saw now a bunch of bullfrogs.
I meant humans.
I did see Mr. Jordan on the patio when I was coming in. I don't know what he was doing out there.
Did you hear anybody talking about the new will perchance?
Let's see. Minerva and old Bensonhurst didn't talk about much else.
What were they saying?
That it ain't fair, that's what. They worked hard for Mr. Starkweather all these years and should have got their millions. Me? I didn't care too much. I figured 50,000 could buy me a real big screen TV. Even buy me two.
Bensonhurst and Minerva?
Oh, right. The more Minerva thought about it, the madder she got. Oh, doggy, that woman's got a temper. She was about to storm into Mr. Starkweather's room and give him a piece of her mind.
You mustn't go in there, Minerva. And who's going to stop me? I shall if necessary.
You and whose
Army. I completely agree with you. We've been wronged. But confrontation is not the answer.
Then what is?
Patience. Master Simon hasn't signed the will yet. Perhaps he may change his mind by morning.
If we should live so long.
No, Minerva. If he should live so long.
So, Mr. Starkweather, what were you doing outside at the time of the murder?
I was just getting a breath of fresh air. Anything illegal about that?
Not if you remained outside.
What do you mean?
When I made a cursory examination of the crime scene, I noticed that Miss Withers had left the window raised a couple of inches to let in some of that fresh air. Anyone could have climbed in and...
Wait a minute, are you accusing me of killing Great Uncle Simon?
Calm down. I'm not accusing anybody. Yet.
Besides, Cousin Gertie, from what we've heard, conning someone into doing your bidding is more your style.
Who told you that?
I'll ask the questions if you don't mind. I repeat, what were you doing outside?
Well, if you must know, Kathy and I had a wee disagreement, and I blew up, so I went out to cool off. Or did she already tell you about that?
I asked, you answered, remember? Well, if you didn't murder Mr. Starkweather, who do you think did?
Look, I'm not saying she did it, but if you talk to that little maid Nancy,
Nancy?
Why her?
Well, the girl has a crush on me. I flirt with the ladies a lot. I did nothing to lead her on, though. I know she was upset about the new will. Not just that she would lose her money, but that I would lose even more. I had strolled around the house and was outside the kitchen door when I heard her talking to Miss Withers.
Can I do something for you, Miss Withers?
I needed a fresh pitcher of drinking water to bring to Mr. Starkweather's bedside. I got it.
Poor Mr. Starkweather. When I saw him lose his breath in the living room, I heard what you meant when you said the slightest shock could prove to be fatal.
Exactly.
The slightest shock. His bell.
I must go.
Yes, we wouldn't want anything to happen to you.
I'm coming!
I was surprised when I heard that Mr. Starkweather had included me in his will. I didn't even think he noticed me.
Then you must have received 2 surprises. To hear you'd inherit $1 million, then immediately hear it be taken away.
3 surprises, actually. Now you're wealthy again.
Oh, Mr. Starkweather, I was thrilled to hear I would be given even $15,000. With that, I could go to college and get a good education.
Now you can do anything you want. What do you want to do?
I don't know. I haven't been thinking about myself much lately.
Who has been on your mind, Nancy?
Jordan
Starkweather, perhaps? You're very fond of him, aren't you?
Who told you that?
Cousin Jordan, for one. He told us that you might have been willing to kill for him as well.
What? How can he say such a thing?
I'm sorry, Nancy, but now you know what Cousin Jordan's really like. He's out for himself, and he'll trample anyone who gets in his way.
I guess I knew that. I even heard him talking with Miss Collins. He proposed to her, and she later laughed about it to her friend Miss Van Zandt. If you think Jordan is cold-hearted, Miss Collins is much worse than he is.
Can you believe it? Those soulful gazes might work on some innocent young thing like that named Nancy, but he'll look quick enough that I'm no pushover.
I wish I was there to see it. It's about time Jordan met his match. I could tell Nancy about some of the other mates who worked here, but his Playboy days will be over soon enough, though.
What do you mean?
Mr. Starkweather has given Jordan, as well as Fiona, Paula, and young Simon, a generous allowance. Once he passes on, the $50,000 request will be the last they get of the Starkweather fortune. They'll have to learn what it's like to work for a living.
And then what will they do? I mean, Simon, he's almost up to school, he'll do fine, but they'll go through their money in no time, the rest of them, and then what kind of jobs can they get? Can you imagine Paula behind the desk of a car rental agency?
Or Jordan driving cars up the lot for customers.
And what will Fiona do? Sell Avon?
They're doomed.
Cousin Fiona, can I get you anything? A glass of water, perhaps?
No, I'm alright. Miss Davis, I want you to know that my assignment couldn't have done. Oh dear, what was done to Uncle Simon? He was with me in my room all evening.
You know that can't be true. He told us himself that he was outside.
Maybe that's right. Maybe it was last night he was right here with me.
Maybe it was.
Now I know why Jessica Fletcher never believed the suspects on Murder, She Wrote. It's so easy to get confused.
Concentrate on tonight, Mrs. Starkweather. Do you recall seeing anything suspicious?
Well, I saw that horrible thing around Uncle Simon's neck. I'd call that suspicious.
Cousin Fiona, Michelle means before that.
Before that, let me think. I don't know if this is the sort of thing you mean, but...
Yes.
It was right after we'd all gone to bed. I overheard Miss Trent and that college girl talking, and I couldn't help but overhear.
Mrs. Trent, what are you doing in that room?
I was checking all the guest rooms to make sure they had extra blankets.
Yeah, right.
You must be pretty proud of yourself, Miss Collins.
What do you mean?
It all worked out just as you planned.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you do. All those magazines you brought from town and left them lying around right where Mr. Starkweather would see them.
What magazine?
Don't play dumb, Miss Collins. All those news articles and scientific journals, they all had one thing in common. Articles about cloning. I didn't realize it until now, but now it's clear what you were doing. You were planting the idea in his brain to clone himself.
What? There's nothing wrong with putting ideas in people's brains, is there?
I'm sure your lawyer friend would say no since you're in this together, but I think your plan is monstrous.
To be completely honest, I couldn't care less what you think. Get out!
Giving orders already, are you? I'll go. Remember one thing, you're not Queen Bee yet. And you're not going to be until Mr. Starkweather's name is on that dotted line. Assuming that ever happens.
Kathy told me about Mrs. Trent's accusations that she engineered the cloning business, possibly with my help. Apparently, Mrs. Starkweather reported their conversation accurately, which is something of a surprise.
Is it true? Did you and Kathy give Grandfather the idea to clone himself?
I don't really think that's relevant to the case at hand, Simon. Even if we did, we weren't breaking any laws. Don't you agree, Miss Davis?
No laws I can think of.
Then shouldn't we focus on the law that was broken? I'm referring to murder, of course.
You're right as usual, Miss Van Zandt. Is there any other information you can give us?
I will tell you this. Earlier this evening, I was going to the kitchen to ask Minerva for a pot of coffee. It was apparent that Kathy and I were going to be working late, and I thought the caffeine might help us stay awake. Minerva wasn't there, but Rufus was. He was talking to Fiona Starkweather. Their conversation was very peculiar.
Rufus? What's with the axe? Well, I brought it inside to dry it off so it don't rust. Yep. Put that thing away. I might as well, before it hurts somebody, or even kills them. What a horrible thought, Rufus. Ain't it though? I get those sometimes. Do you? I see you still got your poison pills.
Digitalis isn't a poison. It's a stimulant. You just have to be careful to not take too many.
You had a lot more in the bottle when I saw you last. Hope you haven't gone and overdosed.
What a horrible thought, Rufus.
Just trying to help, Miss Starkweather.
Well, don't. There are some fates worse than death. I assure you, however, I am fine. I just had an accident with my pill bottle.
You need some in the kitchen?
I was coming to see if Minerva might have any of those delicious hors d'oeuvres left over.
I can look.
No need. I lost my appetite.
Mr. Starkweather's meals?
What do you want to know about them?
Who did he dine with? Did he eat the same food as everyone else?
Mr. Starkweather was on a very restricted diet. Low salt, low fat. So I had to prepare his meals separately. Why do you want to know about the food? You think there's something wrong with my cooking?
You're a great cook, Minerva. That leg of lamb you served tonight was delicious.
Yes, well, I've often been told I have terrific legs. So what's the problem?
Forget it. You told me what I need to know. Changing the subject, do you remember who all was in the kitchen when the lights went out? Before I got there, I mean.
The blackout? I'm not sure. Let me think. I was in the kitchen checking the supplies for breakfast. When it went dark, it took me a moment to get my candle from my pocket and light it.
Nancy! Minerva! Is everyone alright? I'm here, and I'm fine.
I saw the lights go out.
I was in my room when everything went dark. What happened?
Fancy nurse forgot to pay the light bill. That was a good
We're not going to pay
Go away, just say.
What in the blazes is going on here?
Apparently, the storm knocked out the electricity. My candles did come handy, you see.
Remind me to give you a gold star later. Bensonhurst, can't you get the electricity back on?
That's exactly what I came to find out. Mr. Bensonhurst?
The circuit breaker's right over here.
I hope they hurry. I don't like the dark.
Ain't quick enough for you? I'll get back to my chore.
What did he come inside door. The idiot tracked water all over my clean floor.
Why Mr. Starkweather doesn't fire him, I'll never know.
Any luck?
Yeah, it was there all right. It should have been enough to pinpoint our murderer, but I wish I had more. It could take weeks to get the results. If the will is probated before then, and the killer gets his or her inheritance, they could easily buy a new identity for $1 million or more. I just wish there was someone who could nab the guilty party tonight.
Yeah, I was hoping that we'd learn more from questioning the suspects as well.
Me too. They were so busy trying to make each other look guilty, they didn't reveal much about themselves. Sometimes the slightest... Simon, move your feet. Here, help me move this.
Oh, okay.
Here on the rug, I think it's...
What is it?
Yes, what they were doing was so insignificant, I didn't notice it at the time. Simon, I know who murdered your grandfather.
Who?
I'll tell you when I gather the evidence. If you could go find Bensoners and have them gather everyone in here immediately.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I never sent me in here to ask if you wanted some coffee.
Never mind that. Go back into the kitchen and tell everyone in there to come out on the double. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Where was I supposed to go again?
Go
I'll just go
upstairs.
upstairs, because I just said, yeah.
I don't think that the chief police will mind if I use sandwich bags to gather the evidence. I don't think they'll mind at all.
Come on, everybody. Come on. Come on, please, hurry up.
Please, everybody, sit down. Sit down.
Miss Davis, it's very late or very early, depending on how you look at it. If nobody's going to ask, I will. Why, in tarnation, have you asked us here at this ungodly hour?
It has been a very long night, hasn't it? I bet you're all tired. I know I am. But I felt you would rest easier, knowing who murdered Simon Starkweather.
You're saying you know who killed Great Uncle Simon?
I'm pretty sure I do, as I'm going to show you in the next few minutes.
That's amazing, Michelle. How did you figure it out?
First, I had to find the answer to the question that had bothered me from the beginning. It would have been easy enough to make it seem like Mr. Starkweather died of natural causes, a suggestion Jordan Starkweather made to Miss Withers. For example, Fiona or her son Jordan could have taken a few of her digitalis and given them to him to trigger a heart attack. So could any of you who were aware that she had them and left them on the floor, no doubt, when she spilled them earlier tonight. Miss Withers could have achieved the same result by injecting an air bubble into his bloodstream using a hypodermic needle. Again, so could any of you could have gone into her room and stolen one. It's also highly probable that some of you considered scaring the old man to death. Minerva with her knife, Miss Thompson with her gun, Rufus with his axe, Bensonhurst with his wrench. The possibilities are endless. Why then did the murderer take the blood pressure cuff and put it around his neck and inflate it until he strangled to death? The answer's so simple, I feel foolish for not realizing it sooner.
One might ask what that is.
Obviously, when the cuff was put on him, he was already dead. Am I right to Miss Van Zandt?
You really are very clever, Miss Davis.
It had to have been you. We were in here together when the lights went out. Mr. Starkweather started ringing his bell. I went to go find Bensoners, and you went to go check on Mr. Starkweather. The killer must have slipped into Miss Withers' room just moments before you found the body.
That's what I figured too.
But why would you put the cuff around his neck?
As our able detective here has surmised, murder made it appear that Mr. Starkweather had had a heart attack. Death seemed to have indeed been due to natural causes. There was no doubt in my mind, however, that someone in this house had killed him. I knew that under the circumstances, the coroner would have no reason to perform an autopsy, nor would the police conduct an investigation. I wasn't about to let my employer's murderer get away scot-free. I noticed the blood pressure cuff on his bed, so I put it around his neck and inflated it before wheeling him into this room.
And your plan worked. No one was going to question the fact that he had been murdered.
So, young Master Simon hired Mrs. Davis to find the killer.
Which I have. That was very naughty of you, Miss Van Zandt. For a while, your little ploy distracted me from the main problem. Instead of wondering who did it, I kept wondering why did they do it that way. Once I solved that piece of the puzzle, the rest came easy.
I'm sorry, Miss Davis, but if you have discovered the identity of the murderer, then the ends seem to have justified the means.
I imagine the police will agree and might even overlook the fact that you're guilty of tampering with evidence at a crime scene.
And if not, I'm on very good terms with the local judges.
Wait a minute. How do you know she didn't kill Great Uncle Simon herself?
No motive.
Oh, yeah.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. Who did it?
Here, let me show you. Bear with me! Stay seated! I imagine you also have the candles that Mrs. Trent handed out earlier. If you could please take them out and light them.
Ooh, how nice. Very Christmassy.
When I examined Mr. Starkweather's body, I found what I first thought were a few drops of blood on his back robe. Upon inspection, they turned out to be another substance entirely. I forgot about them for a moment. When I was interviewing you all individually, I noticed one suspect rubbing one thumbnail against the other. At the time, I took it to be a nervous gesture. It was nerves triggered by guilt, as it turns out. I didn't remember the importance of this until I recalled Minerva's testimony, who reminded me of those of you who were gathered in the kitchen when the lights went out. A few minutes ago, I found these on the floor by the sofa, and I had the clue I needed to discover the killer's identity. Thin scrapings of red tallow. Tallow from the killer's thumbnail. Tallow that matched the drops on Mr. Starkweather's body. Tallow from the candle the murderer was holding when he killed Simon Starkweather. Tallow from the one red candle among which of you are holding Rufus! What? There might be red candles.
There aren't. I remember thinking last year we need to buy more for next year.
Is that the only evidence you have to offer the police? This candle?
No, Rufus, I have better than that. I just examined Mr. Starkweather's body. When I was walking around a few minutes ago, I noticed some thin scratches on your wrist, made by Mr. Starkweather, no doubt, when he struggled for his life.
Oh, yeah.
I bet my reputation these skin samples from under his fingernails came from you. It'd be easy enough to prove. I've met quite a few experts on DNA in the last 6 months.
Bravo, Miss Davis.
Well,
I don't suppose you cloned those scrappings and put the new me in prison? I didn't think so. Well, I guess my biggest mistake was trying to cross a lawyer, Miss Van Zandt. I could have made you lose access to the billions yourself, but you got your revenge.
why don't you just tell us what happened?
Might as well. You figured out the main details anyway. I was furious with Mr. Starkweather, building up our hopes and dashing them to the ground. Thought a man like that didn't deserve to live. So, when I knew he was alone, I slipped into the doorway, grabbed the wheelchair, looked him dead in the eye and told him I was going to kill him. So I reached for his throat, and he went flying into the bedside table, knocking the water and the lamp down with him. So, caused the lights to go out.
So you didn't cause the blackout deliberately?
No, it nearly ruined everything though. Luckily, I still had my candle in my pocket. So, I pulled it out, lit it, and with one hand I had the candle, the other I grabbed the mask off the wheelchair and ripped it on his face. Couldn't tell if he died from a heart attack or suffocation, but it was over in seconds. And then, well, blew out my candle, slipped through the doorway into Miss Withers' room. Her back was to me, of course. So, I grabbed the brass candlestick off her desk and struck her with it. You? Of course it was. Then, the candle went out, so did she. Then, slipped through the doorway in the hall to meet everyone else when Miss Collins screamed.
I bet you were as surprised as everyone to see that blood pressure cuff around his neck.
I was. What can I do? It was easy to tell that Miss Van Zandt had interfered with my murder. I would love to kill you too. I dare not try. Till now! Easy! Someone's I regret. Get up. Come with me.
out.
I know about the tree Mr. Simon was talking about. Throw your keys on the table.
Okay.
You'll never get away.
God, you went to college for that. Grab that. Get it.
You'll never get away.
Think I might. All your cars are on this side of the street. And it would take you hours to get to town.
What about me?
I would have committed the perfect murder if it weren't for you. What do you think I'm going to do with you?
Not a thing, if I can help it.
What? What? You burned me!
Hold it right there.
Okay.
Consider it a preview of the afterlife.
I got the lights on, Michelle.
Thanks. I always keep these handy. You never know when you might need them. Well, Rufus, hands behind your back.
But Michelle, mind you pay you a big bonus after this.
No problem. Well, Rufus, you're going to spend a long time in prison. What do you have to say for yourself?
I wonder if they have a 18 feet at screen scene. Scene.
Thin scrapings of red tallow. Tallow from the killer's thumbnail. Tallow that matched the red drops on Mr. Starkweather's body. Tallow from the candle the murderer was holding when she killed Simon Starkweather. Tallow from the one red candle among which of you are holding Minerva!
There might have been other red candles.
There aren't. I remember thinking we need to buy more for next year.
Is that the only evidence you have against me? This candle?
No, Minerva. I have better than that. I just examined Mr. Starkweather's body. When I was walking around a few minutes ago, I noticed some thin scratches on your wrist. Made by Mr. Starkweather, no doubt, when he struggled for his life. I bet my reputation that these skin samples from under his fingernails came from you. It'd be easy enough to prove. I've met quite a few experts on DNA in the last 6 months.
Bravo, Miss Davis.
Well,
I don't suppose you'd consider cloning those scrappings and putting the new me in prison, would you? I didn't think so. Well, Miss Van Zandt, I guess my biggest mistake was trying to cross a lawyer. I might have caused you to lose access to Mr. Starkweather's billions, but you definitely got your revenge.
Why don't you tell us what happened?
Might as well. You figured out the main details anyway. I was furious with Mr. Starkweather for building up our hopes and then dashing them to the ground. I thought a man that cruel didn't deserve to live. I listened at his door and slipped in when I was sure he was alone. He was sitting in his wheelchair, still awake. I leaned and grabbed the handles of his wheelchair and went right into his face. I told him I thought what he was going to do was monstrous. I told him he didn't deserve to live. I told him I was going to kill him. Then I reached for his throat. He was terrified. He went reeling backwards into his bedside table. The impact sent the reading lamp and the pitcher of water crashing to the floor. When the water hit the lamp, it blew the circuit breaker and caused a blackout.
So you didn't cause the blackout deliberately?
No, and it nearly ruined everything. Luckily, I had the candle in my pocket. I managed to light it and hold it with one hand, while I grabbed the oxygen mask off of his chair with the other. I clamped the mask down hard over his nose and mouth. He couldn't breathe, of course. He made a feeble attempt to fight back with one hand, while he rang that bell with the other. But all he could do was make a few insignificant scratches on my wrist. As you noticed, that didn't cause me to spill those drops of candle wax on his robe. I'm not sure if he died of suffocation or a heart attack, but it was all over in seconds. The old man wasn't able to do much, but I guess it was enough to pin his murder on me.
And then?
I slipped through the connecting door to Miss Witherspoon. I blew out my candle and snuck behind her while her back was to me. She had just managed to take her candle out when I was lighting it. I grabbed the brass candlestick off of her dresser and struck her with it. It was you? Of course it was. I loved watching your candle go out. I suppose that's when you were turning my apparent natural death into an apparent murder, Miss Van Zandt. Right afterwards, I slipped out into the hallway and joined Bensonhurst and the others in the kitchen.
right before that Collins girl screamed, and we all ran in here.
I bet you were surprised as everyone else to see the blood pressure cuff around his neck.
I was, but what could I do? It was easy to guess what Miss Van Zandt had pulled. I would have loved to kill you too, for ruining everything. But I didn't dare try, of course. At this point, I don't have anything to lose now, do I?
Easy, don't do anything you might regret.
It's too late for that advice, Miss Davis. Don't anybody move. Get up, you're coming with me.
Where can we go? The bridge is out.
I happen to know where the fallen tree is that Simon mentioned. Simon, toss your keys on the table.
But you told me not to move.
Throw the keys on the table, Simon.
Okay.
We'll never get away.
I think I might. The phones are still out and all your cars are parked on this side of the stream. It'll take you hours to walk into town and notify the police. I'll be long gone by then.
What about me?
I would have committed the perfect murder if it weren't for you. What do you think I'm going to do with you?
Not a thing. If I can help it. Hold it right there. You hurt me. Consider it a preview of the afterlife. I always think these are
Michelle, I can make it life for you.
Thanks. Give me a second.
You're not gonna be a big bonus after this.
No problem. Well, you're going to spend a long time in prison. What do you have to say for yourself?
If there's one good thing, somebody else can cook for a change.
Tell from the one red candle among which of you are holding Jordan!
Yes, happy to help, young man.
It's always possible there were other red candles.
There aren't. I remember telling someone when we took them down from Christmas last year we'd have to buy some new ones. But no one listened, did they?
Well, is this candle the only evidence you have to offer the police?
No, I have better than that. I just examined Mr. Starkweather's body. As I was walking around the room a few minutes ago, I noticed that you had some thin scratches on your wrist, made by Mr. Starkweather, no doubt, as he struggled for his life. I bet my reputation that these skin samples I found from under his fingernails came from you. It'd be easy enough to prove. I've met quite a few experts on DNA in the last 6 months.
Bravo, Miss Davis.
Well,
I don't suppose you considered cloning those scrapings you found on me and putting the new me in prison? Please? I don't think so. Well, Miss Van Zandt, I guess my error in this whole ordeal was trying to cross a lawyer. I mean, I may have cut off your access to Starkweather's billions, but you got your revenge.
why don't you just tell us what happened?
Why not? I mean, you managed to figure out the main details anyways. Where do I even start? I was enraged with Great Uncle Simon for building up our hopes and then dashing them to the ground. I thought a man that selfish didn't deserve to live. So, I listened at his door to make sure Withers was away and he was all alone. And then I snuck in. I saw him sitting there, and his wheelchair still awake. So I gripped the handles of his wheelchair and leaned in. I told him what he was planning to do was monstrous. I told him he didn't deserve to live. I told him I was going to kill him, and then I reached for his throat. Naturally, he was terrified, so he wheeled backwards into his bedside table, knocking the reading lamp onto the floor and then the water pitcher on top of it. Horrible mixture. It short-circuited and blew the circuit breaker.
So you didn't cause the blackout deliberately?
No! It almost ruined everything. But I had a candle and a match or two in my pocket. I managed to light it and hold it in one hand as I grabbed the oxygen mask off of his chair and clamped it hard down over his nose and mouth. He couldn't breathe, of course. So instead he tried to fight back with one arm and ring that stupid bell with the other. All I managed to do was make a few insignificant scratches, which you noticed, but those scratches also caused me to spill little drops of spilled wax onto his robe, which you also noticed. Now, I don't know if he died of suffocation like I planned or a heart attack, but he was all over in seconds. He didn't have time to do much of anything, but I guess it was just enough to make you pin the murder on me.
And then?
Well, and then I put out my candle, slipped it into my pocket, and slipped into the connecting room where Miss Withers was. Her back was to me, because she just found her candle and she was lighting it. So I took the brass candlestick off of her bureau and struck her over the head with it.
It was you?
Yes, it was I. I guess this was about the time Ms. Van Zandt was turning my apparent natural death into an apparent murder. I was still surprised about the cuff being over his neck when you build him in, though. You almost ruined everything. I would have loved to kill you too, but I didn't dare try until now. Where's your gun? That's too late for that. I don't have much to lose now, do I? You get up. Nobody move.
Where can we go? The bridge is out.
I know where that trunk is that Simon mentioned. I'll take you there. And what do you think I'm going to do with you? You ruined my almost perfect murder.
Not a thing. If I can help it. Hold it right there.
All right.
Michelle?
You burned me!
I got the lights.
Consider it a preview of the afterlife. I always keep these hands. Jordan. Hands behind your back.
Yes, so.
Michelle, I might pay you a big bonus after this.
No problem. Well, you're going to be in prison for a long time. What do you have to say for yourself?
Nancy, you'll see me at visiting hours or bail me out, right? Kathy?
Oh, it's a letter from Mr. St. John. He says he just came out of a drug-induced coma. And when he awoke, a fantastic solution to the plague was crystal clear. Oh, wow, really? Yes. It's brilliant. This new idea is unbelievable. Better than any of the possible conclusions that were before. Oh, you folks just have to see this. This is amazing. Oh, it'll take a few minutes to go over with the cast, but I'm sure they'll handle it. Let's see. Oh, I see some clues that go in Act 1, so guess we'll just have to do the play all over again. Let's see. What is it?